What's up? I'm Bree Essrig, and today I got some really good exposure with Meg talking about how it's more dehumanizing to be an actor than it is to be a worker, and also how feed pics are kind of a gateway drug to all other forms of work.
Hello, and welcome to Really Good Exposure, the podcast that I have inadvertently been researching my entire life. I got the role of Katie Fitch in the Channel 4 drama Skins when I was 16, and since then, I have had just about every job you could possibly imagine. From being a nanny, a bartender, and a stripper, to being that security guard who had to climb over the cubicle you'd locked yourself in when you passed out in a pile of your own sick after one too many red wines at a UB40 concert. I hope that this podcast can help others who might feel like they relate in some way to my weird life experiences to feel less alone. But if nothing else, I hope that the podcast will teach you some of the life lessons that me and my guests had to learn the hard way so that you don't have to. So I have been thinking a lot recently about the cost of living crisis that the UK and the world is currently going through. And I can't help but think about how absolutely fucked I would be right now if I hadn't started my OnlyFans page during the first lockdown in 2020. So I had 150 quid to my name. The manager at my 0-hour contract was refusing to furlough us, and I needed to pay rent in 4 days' time. I knew that when I started an OnlyFans page, I would indirectly be probably closing some doors for myself in the mainstream acting world because of the stigma that comes with sex work. But I've been trying to pay my bills with mainstream acting for a decade, and that just wasn't happening. I'd also already been seen nearly naked on national TV simulating sex as a teenager, so I assumed that the general public would be okay with me creating OnlyFans content as a grown adult, right? Wrong. I wanted to bring today's guest on the podcast because they too are both a mainstream actor and an OnlyFans content creator. And I wanted to get their take on the way people react to sexuality in mainstream media versus sexuality for platforms like OnlyFans. Please welcome actor, writer, comedian, and OnlyFans creator, Bree Essrig. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the podcast. Today, I have a very special guest who I'm going to pretend has come all the way from LA just for me, but she hasn't. It is the very talented actor, writer, comedian, and OnlyFans creator, Bree Essrig. Hi, Bree.
Hi.
Welcome to the podcast. Thank you for coming on.
I did come out here just for this podcast.
That's what I'm going to tell people. So
you absolutely should.
That's fine.
100%.
How are you doing today?
Wonderful. We had so much fun last night. We went out last night. I woke up today with great memories. Yep. I'm doing great.
We went to a very special Halloween edition of Sexquisite Cabaret, which is a cabaret and theatre company who put on events exclusively by sex worker artists and performers. And I dressed up as Anne Boleyn last night when we went to their event, and it was very fun. Unfortunately, I wasn't eligible for Best Dressed because I won Best Dressed last year when I dressed as Harry Wormwood and made my flatmates come as the rest of the Wormwood family.
It's incredible. I saw a picture.
Thanks.
Well deserved. But can I say something naughty that happened last night that I was not expecting?
Tell me.
Watching a non-binary person fuck a pumpkin with a dildo is something I'll never be able to unsee.
Yes, yes. It was a very interesting act.
It was special.
I believe I've seen that act before. So I must have seen that performer because I don't think there's many performers that do that much of a niche performance. But it was something quite special, I think.
It gave Los Angeles a run for its money.
Yeah. Do you have many events similar to that, like sex worker run cabaret style show?
Yeah, sometimes. I mean, the craziest thing I've ever heard, because comedy guys in LA are like batshit. I heard one time someone brought a fish on stage and had sex with a fish.
Well, hang on a minute. Wait.
Yeah.
Someone
for the sake of comedy, not sex work.
A man comedian bought a dead fish.
Hopefully.
Yeah. On stage. To have sex with it for a bit.
Yeah. It is so much worse. The
sad thing is, I believe that a male comedian would go to those lengths to get a laugh. Did he get a laugh?
I wasn't there, but I heard it happened at UCB, like main stage UCB.
Oh.
If someone wants to confirm, like slide into my DMs. If you were there, tell me every detail. I need to know.
I need confirmation and context. I need confirmation and context. Great. So I'm Megan fucking Prescott. Who the fuck are you?
I'm Bree fucking Essrig. Who the fuck are you?
That's a great accent.
Thank you. That is my favorite quote from Skins. Like, I say it all the time. I say I'm Katie fucking Fitch to people, and they're like, what are you talking about? I'm like, if you know, you know.
I hope you educate them.
I do, obviously. It was like, I remember seeing that and screaming. Like, I was like laughing and screaming at the TV.
I remember now looking at it. I'm like, I was saying to the makeup artist, because immediately after that girl got up, her nose had run down here. And I was like, again, this was before I got diagnosed with autism. And I was like, that doesn't make sense. If I punched someone, they fell backwards and then they got up straight away, the blood wouldn't have time to have gravity to get the blood all the way down here. And they were like, can you shut up and just say the line, please?
Yeah.
But I still watch it and I'm like, doesn't make sense. Blood doesn't fall that quickly. It doesn't make sense. If it did fall, it would have fallen to the side. Yeah.
I mean, you're correct.
Thanks.
It's like in movies when they stab someone in the stomach and the blood starts coming out of their mouth. I'm like,
no, there's like scientists that are like, no.
Yeah.
So I will explain briefly how we met, but then I realized I don't actually know officially how we only really met on Instagram.
Yeah.
I think because it's quite a niche being like a mainstream actor and also an OnlyFans creator who's also like quite open about it.
Yeah.
Because of how stigmatized OnlyFans and sex work in general is. But I think that was it. Like I think I just saw things you were posting on Instagram and I was like, oh yes, I vibe with this.
Totally.
And
like I'm a Skins fan, obviously. We talked about this, but I mean, we have a lot in common in like the fact that I was like a YouTube creator since I was 19 years old, and I was part of like a couple of big YouTube groups for a while, and so they had like this rabid fan base that Skins kind of had. So it's like I kind of grew up on the internet in that same way that you grew up like on TV.
Yeah.
So we definitely have that in common. I'm 33.
Oh yeah, but yeah, basically the same age. Okay, so yeah, literally in the same era as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, you were mainstream. I was like, I never have graduated from the internet. Like I always say, born on the internet, died on the internet, because I mean, I make films. I've never been on like a TV show, but I've done movies, commercials, like everything but.
I also feel like mainstream in the UK is so much smaller than, because I just think everything is bigger and like more impressive in America. And so in London, in the UK, I think when I came to America and lived there for a while, I realized like, oh, people think I'm like rich and famous here. Like,
oh yeah, you're a celebrity in America.
But I was like, it's very weird because in the UK, I think it's like a culture of like, we're very like, oh no, don't say that. No, don't say that. So people don't talk to anyone on the street in the best of times. Like, so I don't really, and also it was 10 years ago, so I might be just like, nobody gives a shit anymore, but not many people ever come up to me in the UK. But in America, they would not only come up to me and be very nice about the show, but they would also assume that I was making all this money because I realized that the American Skins cast did get paid a lot of money. But I think just the money involved in TV in America versus in the UK, it's changing now because of Netflix and streaming platforms, and there's more money in the UK. But it was like a regular job. Yeah. In terms of what we earn. We did more hours, and for a 16-year-old, it seems like a lot of money. But I'm like, really, it was just a regular paying job.
Yeah. I mean, in America, acting in movies, like when I first started acting, it was like $100 a day. And you're there for 18 hours a day.
Yeah.
That's nothing. Like extras now are making like maybe like 200 a day.
Yeah.
So the rates have gone up. Not much. It's like 300 something. SAG minimum is 300 something.
when I first started in acting, I was doing things on like, like casting websites that you pay like 20 quid a month. And they're like,
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. There was one where it was like, it was 180 quid, which was more than they normally offered for a short film. You have to be willing to be completely nude and shave your head. And I was like, so I wish I saved this screenshot because I was like, so for £180, you first of all want full nudity, right? You also want me to shave. You're not going to stretch for a bald cap. You want me to shave my head, which means I won't be eligible for any other acting work for at least a year afterwards till my hair grows, unless I'm like playing a very specific role.
That's insane.
That's the type of vibe when I was like getting into acting. I was like, oh, this is what you have to do to build up your acting CV.
Yeah. This is why acting is... I'm over it. I'm like over it at this point. I just want to make cool shit with my friends and cast all my friends and stuff. And that's it.
I'm not being funny, but that is what the industry has been for rich white men for so long.
I know. I just need people to give me money. I mean, that's what OnlyFans is for. It's like I use the money I make to fund my own projects. And then I get to cast my friends and then have full control over everything.
That's what it is. It's like control. And I do think that's why a lot of people kind of, they don't realize that's why they don't like it, but that's why they don't like it, because there's so many more women now that have more control because of the freedom that like financial freedom gives you. Mm-hmm. So Bree, we have discussed it a bit, but could you tell us like in your own words what you do for a living?
So for actual money at this point, I am an online sex worker. I do OnlyFans. I used to be an in-person sex worker. I used to be a sugar baby. While I was doing hosting and like other online gigs. But because they paid shit, I had to rely on sex work just so I could keep hosting. Otherwise, I would have to get a regular job and quit pursuing my dream. Mm-hmm. So it was a means to an end. But now I love it so much because I want to be a filmmaker. I always have been. I'm like a writer. I act too, but writing is kind of like my thing. And now I've really gotten into producing. So OnlyFans has like funded all my creative projects. I get to do sketch comedy and all the cool online content that people have known from like that I've done for years and years, like since I was 18 years old. So it's kind of like maintained that lifestyle for me.
Yeah. When did you start OnlyFans?
I started OnlyFans. Well, I started Patreon first in 2017, 2018.
An OG.
An OG.
In the online.
Yeah. And I was doing these really, really like creative, elaborate photo shoots. They were like really artsy and beautiful. Yeah. And I was like, and people were like, we don't really care about that. We just want to see your tits. I was like, great. Okay. I'm going to spend less time on that. And I guess I'll just give you what I want. And I'll do like, I'll make it less.
Yeah.
But OnlyFans, I think, was 2019.
Okay. Oh, so it's still quite, because most people you speak to, it's like, and me as well, as 2020, like peak pandemic is when a lot of people started, but pre-2020 is an original.
Yeah. I started OnlyFans in 2019, but I met a bunch of OnlyFans models who basically like boot camped me into being proper OnlyFans creators because I realized I was doing everything wrong.
Yeah, this is what I kind of realized last night when we were talking about
it. Yeah, we were talking about it. I was like, because I was so focused on making customs for people that I wasn't looking at big picture and just making generic content for everybody. Mm-hmm. They were like, yeah, you're spending a lot of time and effort on one video for one person.
Yeah, this is the thing. There's not enough hours in the day I'm finding at the moment because I'm like, I'm not doing, the scope is smaller. So I'm like, oh, well, it's a customized like experience, which is nice. But then I'm like, but I actually don't have enough hours in the day. Like I do need to do it more effectively. But speaking of hours in the day, so I ask people that come on the podcast to walk me through like an average day in their life, mostly because when I was younger, I had no idea what the fuck I was doing, definitely because I was undiagnosed autistic and ADHD. And I was like, oh, I would give anything to just know what everyone's doing day to day. I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing and how I'm supposed to structure this because creative freelancing is so non-linear. So I am aware that there probably isn't an average day in your life, but could you walk us through the closest thing to an average day in your life?
Totally. I am a full introvert. I'm not a morning person. I'm a go to bed late, wake up late. I'm like up at 10:30, but I'm going to bed at like 2. So it's like, it evens out.
Yeah.
My family makes fun of me because they all wake up at like 5:30 a.m. and go to bed at 9. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
So I'll wake up. I'll usually scroll my phone. I think consuming content is part of my job. Like I really do consider like watching TV, movies, going on TikTok, like for 3 hours on TikTok, me like coming up with ideas and collecting sounds and different things to use. Like that's all part of the job.
Yeah.
So spending all day on screens is part of it.
Yeah.
So I'll chat on OnlyFans. I'll like do the DMs usually in the morning, sometimes afternoon. It depends on how I'm feeling that day. If I'm not in the mood to chat, I won't.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing I love so much about that is because I have like ADHD, I can multitask really well. So I will be watching a full television show or movie while I'm like chatting to people.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Mm-hmm.
I love that.
Yeah.
And I'm talking to like 10 people at once. So it's like, I don't know how my brain can do that.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's what I do all day.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. I work from my couch all day.
But I feel like it's so nice that there is a career that is suited for people because I do find that a large portion of the sex workers that I meet are neurodivergent.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, it does go to show like the traditional workforce is made for neurotypical brains.
Yeah.
And it's such a shame because I'm not going to say ADHD is a gift because in this society we live in, it isn't, right? But I think it could be if the whole of society and the workforce wasn't built around a neurotypical way of working. But I see when I talk to sex workers and neurodivergent people, I'm like, oh my God, we can do so many things. We just need to be able to do it in a different way.
Totally.
And sex work is often the type of work, depending on what type of sex work you're doing, but you can find a type that suits you. Like I found that stripping, I was an awful stripper, like terrible. I did it for like a year and I was like, I'm so bad at like lying and pretending I'm interested in people when I'm not. And that's like really a key part of the role.
Huge.
And then OnlyFans, I was like, this is ideal because again, like you said, like I can reply when I feel ready.
Mm-hmm.
And that way people get a genuine response, not just me as a when I was a stripper being like, oh, that's so interesting. Tell me more. Like, because I was just not believable.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just such a shame that people stigmatize sex work so much because I'm like, but look at why people do it. It's because it's the only work that like suits them to the ground. Like
Totally.
create more jobs that are more suitable for neurodivergent people then if you don't like sex work. Like, but
yeah, it's amazing. I just literally will sit on I'll go take my photo sets, make the videos, and then I'll just sit on the couch, watch stuff, edit the pictures, upload the picture. It's just like, it's so easy.
And it is a creative outlet, which I think, like you said, I had 10 years after Skins of like really not, I think, not knowing that I was autistic had played a huge role in this, but I wasn't getting roles. And I think a large part of it was like going in person to auditions. I just didn't know. I was like, who do you want me to be? You want me to be genuine? You want me to be kiss arsey? I don't know what you want. I can't read you. A lot of people in the acting industry are quite, not fake, but it's just, they're hard to read. And I was just shit at it, like really, really shit at the in-person stuff. I do much better with self-tapes because again, it's like anything, you can do it online and you can create the version that you want to send to them. It's not live. Like, and if you fuck up and you do the wrong thing or say the wrong thing, they're going to be like, fuck her.
Yeah.
But I had like 10 years where I was like, I can't do anything creative because there are so many gatekeepers, money being a massive gatekeeper, but also like if you don't own a camera or a phone that has a decent camera, if you don't have an internet connection, if you don't have an editing thing, you can't, I mean, YouTube, I guess, was the first way that you could start making your own content.
Mm-hmm.
But if I wanted to make a short film, nowadays, I genuinely believe with some of the iPhone cameras, you could make a semi-decent short film on an iPhone camera.
100%.
And edit it. And obviously, they're still expensive. But before, it would be like, no, if you don't have the money to hire professional equipment and a DOP and a direct, like all these things, no one's going to watch it.
I know. Sean Baker is such an inspiration to me, the filmmaker, because he shot Tangerine, an Oscar-nominated movie, on an iPhone.
This is what I was thinking about, I think. And I was like, that's so nice. Like, and I feel my therapist said to me, like, perfection is the enemy of creativity. And I was like, okay. And I think for 10 years trying to do acting, I was trying to do it the way I thought I'm supposed to do it. And then when I started doing OnlyFans content, I was like, oh my God, I'm like writing stories in the caption, so I get to like write creatively.
Yeah.
I get to put on the costume, do the makeup, like shoot, like we're like artistic directors of the shoot. It's so much creativity that I wasn't able to do for so long because they were like, no, you don't fit the bill. You don't look the part. You don't act the part. We don't like you. You're not right for the role. And with OnlyFans, you're like, no, I am right for the role because it's my role and these people want to see stuff from me. So fuck off.
It's so fulfilling. Like truly, yeah, you can make your own stories. You can create your own characters. You don't have to play yourself every time.
Yeah.
Or you just play the character version of yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
I love it. I get more out of it than acting. It takes way less time. I'm not sitting around all day in a trailer waiting to be called to set. I get paid way more than I would as an actor.
Yeah.
So I do all my own stunts.
Yeah. Well, and we were tell me if you don't want to speak about this on here, but I think we were talking last night about, we can cut this out if you don't, but we were talking about how you were saying that what I do on OnlyFans is what I would do as an actor in a film.
100%.
Like, I wouldn't, if you wouldn't judge implied nude or like a sex scene, which is all implied on TV or in a film, why can't I do it on OnlyFans and profit from it more than I would as an actress? Like,
yeah, I mean, on Skins, there was like masturbation, like implied masturbation. That's what I do on OnlyFans, and I get paid a lot for that. Like, so Riley Keough did this amazing show called The Girlfriend Experience, Steven Soderbergh, and she's topless in a lot of it, like full nude in some of it. And there's like, yeah, she's just like masturbating like under like her skirt. And I'm like, yeah, I would do that in a movie too. So why shouldn't I just do that? It's the same fucking thing, except I get all the money.
Yeah.
So Aubrey Plaza, when she did the to-do list, I don't know if you saw that interview, she said because there were no intimacy coordinators at the time, I think it was a female director, but she said that she didn't know what to do during a masturbation scene, so she actually masturbated. And it made it in the movie.
So this is the thing. When I did Skins, one of the first scenes I ever filmed, Skins was only my second ever professional acting job. One of the first scenes that I ever filmed, thank God it was with my twin sister, but the character that I played in Skins, her boyfriend was like in his 30s and supposed to be like a football player or whatever. I, at the time, was 16 and the scene was, I knew I had to kiss him in the scene and it was supposed to make my twin sister uncomfortable, like, because it was such a gross, like full on kiss. So I was like, right, be professional. Don't fuck around. Go and do the most like over the top, like kiss that would make Kat like grossed out.
Yeah.
Be a professional, because I thought that's what professionalism was, right?
Yeah.
So I went up to this like 33-year-old guy. And when you're 16, 33 is like a full-on man grown up, right?
Yeah.
I'd never kissed anyone over 18, I don't think.
You were a child.
So I was like, right, no, just do it. I was terrified. Obviously no intimacy coordinators because this was before that was a thing. Went up, kissed him full tongue, like went for it. And then for the rest of the season, whenever I kissed this guy, full tongue, because it said full on, like passionate kiss. So I was like, right, that's what I would do. And then I'm not kidding. Maybe 3 years later, I was speaking to someone and they were like, because, there's code. I mean, this is very not acceptable anymore or should never have been too. But he was like, there's codes in acting, and if you do really like someone that you're doing a scene with, like you slip them the tongue, right? Again, not okay, right? But I was like, wait. So when it says like a French kiss in the thing, you're not using tongue. He was like, no, not unless you like actually want to tell them that you like them. And I was like,
that's not.
No. But I was using tongue and they were like, well, was he using tongue back? And I was like, I can't remember. I think he didn't have a choice if I was using tongue. But like, what the fuck? Does he think that I'm saying? What does he think? Oh my God, why did no one tell me this?
Okay, wait, no. I agree to an extent, but if it's for comedic purposes, then it's anything's on the table.
Okay, but I feel like I should have asked him then. Like, I mean, I'm sure he didn't feel threatened by the 16-year-old girl, but that isn't the point. The point is that he's being non-consensually tongued, and like, I don't know if he felt. I don't know.
I hope he would have said something. Like,
I hope he was mortified, but Jesus Christ. But
did the director love it?
I mean, my sister was like, it was vile. So I was like, okay, that's great. We got the scene then.
Yeah.
One take wonder. Great.
I know for sketch, because in traditional like media, I do know the rules about on-screen kissing. It is no tongue usually. But in sketch comedy, it's like the most absurd, the better. So, but now we ask for consent.
There would be a conversation. Yeah.
But then it's like, okay, we do what is written in front of us.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you were just doing your job and you were a child.
And again, autistic. So you told me to do a proper kiss. So I just did it. Like,
yeah.
I don't ask questions.
Yeah.
But yes, so that is, I think, an important part of the industry that's changed now is intimacy coordinators, consent, and like discussion.
Totally.
I think it's very important.
But yeah, going back to the original thought of like what I do on OnlyFans is what any actor would do in a rated R movie, but no more than that. So it's people think anyone on OnlyFans just makes porn.
Yeah.
And a lot of people do. Some people just post bathing suit photos.
Yeah.
It's so vast.
Yeah.
But like because I want to continue with the mainstream media, I only go to that point personally.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll do like full frontal like every once in a while, but like it's not like it's like Playboy style. It's not like bent over spread. It's more just like pretty like
no
or funny
shots.
or I'm changing in a video. Like I'm doing a try on haul and like, oh, you see it for a second. Okay. Big fucking deal.
Yeah. I also think the reason, and I'm not complaining about this, but the people that are so against selling nude pictures and stuff, I'm like, you know, the reason it's valuable is because of you. Like you making it taboo makes it more valuable. So if you really don't want anyone to sell pictures of themselves nude, just be cool with it and make it not a big deal. And then no one thinks of it as like naughty. And therefore no one like, it's decriminalized. It's not the same as decriminalization, but it's like, if you make a fuss and make it seem like it's something bad, people put a higher value on it because there's more risk on the people who are doing it.
100%. I hate the hypocrisy though with it. It's like astounding. Like Jennifer Lawrence just did No Hard Feelings.
Oh my God.
She had one of the funniest full frontal nude scenes in that movie. Like she is fully naked and she's beating the shit out of like these guys on the beach. And it was a comedic scene. It wasn't sexual at all. It was just nudity.
Full frontal.
Full frontal. And I was like, okay, that's acceptable. It's on Netflix right now.
Also, the film is about someone who needs a car. So no judgment, but she finds a family on Craigslist who say, we will buy you a car if you fuck our son, basically.
Yeah.
If that is not a film about sex work, what is?
Totally.
And you're telling me there's full frontal nudity in it as well. Like,
yeah, and people are like, Jennifer Lawrence, like, I'm so inspired by her. She's the greatest actress. It's like Halle Berry is like won an Oscar for being fucked hard in a movie by Billy Bob Thornton. Like, it's shit like that, the hypocrisy. It's like, sex work is a label that could be applied to literally anybody who sells their body for sex. Supermodels are sex workers.
Yes, yeah.
They sell their bodies more than anyone. Athletes sell their bodies. They're anyone sex that does workers bodily labor.
You, and also I think the idea of people saying, "Oh, you're selling your body," I find that very weird because I'm like, well, you can't own a human being. Well, you shouldn't be able to own a human being legally, right? But in what other industry? If a plumber, plumber is not a great example, but because, if a non-porn plumber came to fix a pipe, I would not think I was entitled to that plumber's body in any way.
Right.
But he's used his body to provide a service for me. A masseuse has used their body to provide a service for me. I wouldn't then think I'm entitled to their body with no boundaries and no limits. Like it just, to me, it's so obvious. And I feel like people purposely conflate sex work with like things like that to make it sound abusive. But it's like, but if we're going to talk about forced labor and we're going to talk about like people, quote unquote, selling their bodies, let's talk about workers who are like they're having a hard time even unionizing because they're so under the thumb of. I don't know where this podcast is going to go, but don't mute me.
No,
Bezos.
but you're right. It's delivery drivers are lifting heavy packages all day. That takes a toll on their body.
Yeah.
That is, it's patriarchy and societal standards. That's the only difference between what we do and what everybody else does.
Yeah.
And religion, honestly.
Yes,
the judgments from religion.
When
and
you
it's
scrape back the surface.
Yeah, it's not fair. It's like we all come from different walks of life. We all have a different religion. My religion is none of that. Like, I was born and raised Jewish, but I don't subscribe to any extreme.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's beautiful for some people. Like, great. If it works for you, that's totally fine. But let me live my own life.
I think that's a big part of it.
I don't judge you for your shit.
Yeah.
Don't judge me for my shit.
I try and, it's so hard because I try and come at these like swerves, which sex worker exclusionary radical feminists. And I say feminist in quotations because I don't think you can be a feminist if you're like, I'm a feminist except fuck all sex workers.
Yeah.
You can't say that. But I think like, oh fuck, what was my
You're
point?
setting women back 50 years.
This is the thing. I'm like, you're purposely conflating sex work with exploitation.
Yes.
But if you really cared about exploited people, you would listen to sex workers when they say, and the World Health Organization and everywhere else that has said, no, listen, it has been proven that when you decriminalize sex workers feel safer to come to police and report cases of trafficking and abuse. But when you criminalize something, it means that if they've been assaulted or if they know someone's been trafficked, if they go to the police, they are more likely to be arrested themselves than they are to have the police do anything about the person who's in danger or has been assaulted. So why would they go to the police? Like, you're forcing it underground, and it's so obvious. But I
100%.
I find it very difficult to believe that those people actually care about women, because the way they talk about sex workers, it's just like you want to punish them. That's what you want.
Yeah, 100%.
You don't agree with what they do and you want to punish them. So I would respect you more if you just admitted that. If you just said, I don't like sex work, I think it's immoral, and I think they deserve to be punished. I would respect you more if you said that than you saying, no, it's because I care about them and I want to save them, because that's
a lie.
You have to listen to them to actually hear what would help their situation. And I could.
There's so many other people that need saving.
This is the
so
thing.
many.
Like, and also
we're good.
Acting when compared to sex work. I do think I might get slaughtered for saying this, but the hierarchy where they say that I don't agree with it, but it's seen that the closer proximity that the sex worker has to clients and the police, I think it is, the lower on the hierarchy they are, which is not fair. I think sex work is sex work, but so street-based full-service sex work would be the on the bottom of the triangle, and then it's debatable. People debate which
most important. Personally, I think is the most important because it saves people's lives.
People
need it to survive.
It's survival sex work.
Yeah.
And then people say, like, at the top, it's the people who are like the furthest away from clients. So, for example, maybe OnlyFans content creators. But I think sometimes, and again, I'm sorry to all the actors out there that don't want to be associated with sex work, but that's a you issue, not me. I do think acting could be just like one above, like OnlyFans.
I've sold out for acting in ways that have made me more uncomfortable than being a sex worker. Like, you audition. Going into a commercial audition is the most dehumanizing experience one could possibly have.
That feels like selling your soul.
Like, I go out for, like, when I was like full redhead, I'm going to like Wendy's commercial auditions. You walk into the room with 100 girls that look just like you, except they're all way hotter. And you're like, okay, I did not need this today.
Oh my God.
They're like, jump up and down. It's like, you're like, okay, yes. Bark like a dog. Yes.
And you're not getting paid for an
Not
audition.
getting paid. And it's like, that is a level of kink that I must be paid for.
I would absolutely
I will do that
this.
for money.
But I need to be paid.
Yeah.
No, it's insane. So there is a video somewhere in the world of this audition with me and my sister. And it was for a sketch show, like a comedian sketch show, but like for mainstream TV, right?
Cool.
And it was, the gag was, again, this isn't very PC, but so it was conjoined twins.
Oh my God.
And they were going on a show like X Factor or like Britain's Got Talent or whatever. And they were singing. And the joke was that one of the judges was like, you are great. You're going to go the distance. But like, she's holding you back. Like,
that's hilarious.
So so we got to the audition and my agent had said to me, it's supposed to be funny. Like, you're both supposed to be bad singers. Like, neither of you are that great. Like, right. So we were like, great, because neither of us can sing. That's perfect, right? So they were like, yeah, don't worry. They'll just make you do like a bit of a song. And then we got there and we didn't realize that we had to prepare a song and we had to just like wing it. And I only one song came to my head that had like a duet, and it was The Lion Sleeps Tonight.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
And not only that, oh God, this is so bad. They wanted us to look as much like conjoined twins as possible. So Catherine was standing behind me with her head on my shoulder, and we were doing a duet of The Lion Sleeps Tonight. And when we got into the audition, they were like, okay, so we hope you can both sing. And we were like, ha ha ha. And they were like, can you not sing? And we were like, no. And they were like, oh. They were like, well, I guess we'll give it a shot, but we were looking for people that could sing. And I was like, no, the whole joke is that you can't sing. Like, what? It was the most humiliating experience of my life until recently when me and my sister had another audition for twins. We very rarely do auditions for twins, but maybe like 2 and a bit years ago, we had another audition for twins for like a commercial again, like just horrible. It was on Zoom. It was on the hottest day of the year. We had to have the windows closed in my bedroom because of the sound. So we were waiting for this casting director for 40 minutes. She was 40 minutes late. She got on, didn't apologize for being late.
They never do.
And then she went, okay, so let's do the song. And we were like, oh, because me and my sister have separate agents. Neither of our agents had mentioned a song. So I was like, they would have if they knew. And I was like, oh, you want us to do a song? She was like, have you not prepared one? And we were like, no, it's fine. We can do something. And then literally, because we had this Lion Sleeps Tonight thing in our head for like 10 years, that's the only song we've ever sung together. So we were like, shall we just do that? We took, I'm not kidding, a second to be like, should we just do, and this woman goes, oh, come on, girls. I've got 40 other girls to get through today. Oh. And I was like, you were 40 minutes late. And so after that, we then had to sing The Lion Sleeps Tonight again. So if anything is selling your soul and humiliating yourself for a job we didn't even get a call back on, I would say auditioning for commercials. Like, sex work has been so empowering. I've been able to be like, I don't want to do that. No. Yeah. Or like, I am going to do that, but you have to pay twice as much. And
100.
There's no bargaining. Like, that's the price. That's what it is. If you don't want it, you can fuck off. Like, yes.
The last commercial audition I ever went on, I prepared. Everything was prepared. They called me. They're like, hey, I know your call time's like 4 p.m., but can you just like, we're running ahead of schedule. Can you come in? Can you do it an hour earlier? I was like, yeah. So they're like, can you just do it right now? And I was like, yeah. I prepared the stuff, but I didn't have like my backdrop. Like, I didn't have the lighting set up or anything. So they got mad at me for not having like the proper setup. I'm like, I would have at the specific time you asked. They like were upset. Like, they like rolled their eyes and sighed at me. I was like,
you're treated like cattle. You are literally treated like cattle. And I got really pissed off about this when, like, during lockdown, because obviously everything was self-tapes.
Yeah.
And it got to the point where I was like, wow, they started saying in self-tape auditions, you have to have someone else read in. So what I normally do is because I can't get someone at the last. People I know have jobs that are 9 to 5.
Yeah.
So I can't be like at a day's notice. Can you come round and learn this? Because they're not actors also. So it's quite hard to act against someone who's not an actor.
True.
But I appreciate it. To all my friends that have helped me, I do appreciate it. But to get them at the drop of a hat to come round and do a scene with you is not always possible. So I often like record myself doing the other lines
I
in
do
the
that
scene
too, yeah.
and play it back because it's easiest. It's just simple,
and you
right?
can practice.
Yeah, it's easy, right?
Yeah.
And they started saying, you cannot do that. You have to have a person read in with you. And I was like, it's a fucking pandemic. So not only are you expecting me to have like equipment, lighting, backdrop, a space in my house to record this, no outside sound. You also want me to find someone in a pandemic to come to my house and read in with me. Fuck off. I was like, I'm not doing that. Like, no. But if you're not in, I'm not in a position in my acting career where I can really be calling the shots like that at all. But because I am financially able to say no to things I don't want to do in acting now, ironically, I am enjoying acting much more. But before, when I had no money, I was like, I am desperate for anything. I'll do any acting work. I need it. I need it. I need it.
Yeah.
And the irony that people say about sex work, they're like, no, but it's exploitation because these people need money. So can you really consent when you need the money? It's like, well, let's talk about acting then, because how many humiliating things have I done in acting that I didn't want to do, but because I needed the job, I needed the exposure, hence the title of the podcast.
Yeah.
And I most of the time I didn't even get paid for these embarrassing things.
Well, also, what about the stuff we do in our regular dating lives for free? That all the shit we've had to put up with.
Are you going to ban one night
sex-wise.
stands? Yeah, shit one night stands.
At least when I do it myself, I get to come.
Yeah, it's honestly, the hypocrisy and the double standards. It's drives me mad. I could talk about this forever.
I know.
But I do want to ask you some more like work. I mean, it's in the same vein, but work-based questions.
Mm-hmm.
One question that sex workers often get asked is, "Oh, what's the worst experience you've had?" Which I think is not an appropriate question because it could be very triggering. So I would like to ask you, what's the worst job you've had? It doesn't, because I feel like it probably isn't going to be sex work. It's probably going to be a side job. But every time I do an episode of this podcast, I give an example of one of the shit jobs I've had as a side job before sex work when trying to make it as an actor. And I was nannying for a while.
Yeah.
And I was nannying for a famous singer and his wife.
The more famous they are, apparently the shittier they are.
He was actually quite nice to me, but he was never around. She was in the house all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why they needed a nanny, but I guess her children were hard work, but like they found me on Gumtree, which is like the UK equivalent of like Craigslist.
Wild.
And didn't ask me. I have all my DBS checks and I have everything right, but they didn't ask me for my ID, didn't see if I've been background checked, nothing, just like handed over their children to me. And I was like, luckily they're safe with me, but you don't know any better. And they would make me iron their tea towels and socks, which like fair enough, like if you want me to iron, fine. But she would make me tell her before I went, they had a 6-story like townhouse. Mm-hmm. She would make me tell her every time before I went upstairs.
Did you have to ring a little bell? Like what?
I had
like
to
call
like be
her?
like, I'm going upstairs now, like to put your laundry away. Okay, like I'm going.
So
upstairs.
you're the nanny and the housekeeper.
Yeah,
Love
and
it.
that's
okay.
not what I like signed up for. But she was like, "Oh, otherwise I feel like there's a stranger in my house, and I like don't know where you are, and it makes me uncomfortable." And I was like, "Okay, but you're happy to send me off into London with your children, but if your belongings are at risk, you want me." I was like, "If you don't trust me enough with your house, you shouldn't trust me enough with your children." And that I was treated like it was horrific.
Was it good money?
No,
Oh,
it was £10 an hour. Yeah.
Damn.
And I'm not kidding. 6-story townhouse. Like
care?
I will tell you off mic who this person was.
2 kids?
3 kids.
3 kids?
3 boys under the age of 11. One of them had a
for
drum
10
kit.
an hour. Oh. Ooh. That's a bad job.
And the mom was in the house and she would be like, oh, can you tell him to stop playing his drums? And I'm like, yes, but like, okay. And she'd be like, there's no sugar. They're not allowed to have like, fair enough, right? I agree. They shouldn't have much sugar. But she would be like, he can't have like sweet things after this time. And like, not even like fruit. And I was like, okay. So he would like, can I have an apple with peanut butter? And I'd be like, oh no, because it's after so-and-so, so you're not allowed, are you? But tomorrow you can have an apple with peanut butter. And then he went away from me, went to his mum, who was always there. And she was like, okay, sweetheart. And I was like, am I just here to be the bitch so that you seem like the lovely, I'm just here to, but I can't teach your kids if you're then going to undermine me every single time. I'm wasting anyway, that was one of my worst jobs. Have you ever had any like shit side jobs that you had to do when trying to make it as an actor?
Oh my God, yeah. So I've never talked about this publicly, but it's high time I do because there's a lot of misconceptions about, actors and people trying to make it. And people think like, oh, you're on the internet. Like you're making videos that get like 20 million views. You must be loaded. It's like, no, that's not money. That doesn't translate to money. So when I was working on like YouTube at the time, like I had just started YouTube, I was doing sketch comedy and I didn't go to college and I needed help. I was like working part-time job and YouTube and I needed help financially. And I asked my parents, I'm like, I need some help. Like, I don't expect you to just hand me money because my parents have never like given me money. They're like, you need to work for it. So my dad was like, yeah, you can. He had an office in LA. He was like, yeah, you could clean the office and clean the apartment. So I was basically a maid for my dad and his employees. So his apartment, it was like multiple people were staying there like during the week, a couple of days a week. And I would go and clean it. And then I would go into the office after hours and like take out the trash, scrub the toilets, vacuum, clean, like go to Costco, like restock like the kitchen and everything. Like people didn't realize because I'm like on YouTube and I'm so visible, they didn't realize I was literally scrubbing shit. Like these gross construction worker man shit out of the toilets on the weekends. I was crying. Like I'm like, people they're like, oh, your parents are well off. They must just give you everything you want. I'm like, no, honey. I had to do the work, like the worst of the worst.
Yeah.
Literally. Yeah, I had to like go to the apartment, like clean full apartments, do all the laundry, the dishes, like restock the fridge for them. It was like shopping. So it was like I'm doing all that, YouTube, hosting. I was working at this company called the Young Turks. I was I was a co-host on their pop culture talk show. And my other co-host was making more than me. He was a man. And then our other main host, Sam, rightfully so, she was the host. She was making the most. They would not pay me more. So I had to find little side jobs to keep doing what I wanted to be doing. And that's when I started sugaring because it was the only way I could keep doing what I was doing without having to get a full-time job.
Yeah.
And then just start from scratch.
That's the catch-22, isn't it? It's like they say if you wanted it enough, you'd find the money, you'd find the time, you'd find this. And then I'm like, right, but has anyone who's ever said that actually like put that to the test? Like, especially right now with the cost of living crisis, if you're trying to live in London and trying to act or any creative freelancing really, the maths doesn't work.
Yeah.
Like if you have a minimum wage job and you have rent to pay in London, there aren't enough hours in the day to work a minimum job enough to pay your bills and your rent and for your food, as well as pursuing a creative freelance career, because so much creative freelance work is expected to be for free. Like and it is I feel like creative freelancing is, it's treated like a hobby. Like people who are in like corporate jobs will treat creative freelancing like a hobby. And they're like, oh, well, if you like what you do, then you're lucky. And if you do get paid, it's a bonus. Yeah. But it's like, well, all right, if you want to treat it like a hobby and if you want to pay me like it's a hobby, that's fine. But you also have to expect me to work the amount as if it was a hobby. But the problem is they expect you to work a full-time job's worth on it, but pay you like it's a hobby. 100%. And I'm like, you have to pick one or the other. But that is why, especially with acting, it's only the people with like rich parents who can just like pay their rent or like, again, partners who can pay for them. But then I would argue that is a form of sex work. Like, but
yeah. It's an arrangement.
It's the only way you can make it, because there is the only way I started doing well in acting or getting any opportunities was when I started making money from OnlyFans and could pay my rent, could move into a room that was big enough to like actually have anything in it and have the space to be creative. Whereas before I was like a security guard, a bartender, like trying to make ends meet. I was like, when am I going to go to accent lessons or like voice, like, when am I going to do all of this stuff or even go to auditions? Like there's not enough hours in the day. It's bollocks.
Yeah, the worst part about like the toilet scrubbing job for me, it wasn't the job itself, because I like really don't mind working for money. Like I'm a hard worker. I'm a hustler. I was in a really toxic friend group at the time with a bunch of really, really famous YouTubers. And one of them, who I thought was my best friend, he was going around telling everybody, like he would just make up lies about every single person. He's a sociopath, and he's been canceled, like publicly canceled. But he would tell people, oh, Bree's dad just like pays for her. And like, and he knew I was like scrubbing toilet, like he knew it. And I was acting in his videos. He wasn't paying me. I was like at his beck and call. Like he would use me and my friends for views. Every day we were making content. He barely ever tagged me. He wasn't paying me. And he was making like $200,000 a month off of these videos. And he knew I was scrubbing toilets. And he still went around town telling people all this fucking shit about me that I was like, I can't.
Recently I've been a bit like irked by the fact that there is a lot of people who profit off of women and sex workers particularly, more than the sex workers and the women themselves. So I see a lot of podcasts and YouTube things where it's like utilizing beautiful women and like,
I was the thumbnail. It's for every video.
But the man is the one behind it getting the most money. And I'm like, I like that there is a platform for, there's a lot of adult content creators that are on these kind of podcasts, and I like listening to them. But I'm like, I just wish that it was a sex worker who was like able to host this, because it's all about their industry. I feel like mainstream is okay with, they desperate to know about sex work and they love appropriating sex worker culture, but only if it's wrapped up in a neat bow of someone mainstream. So like, if that's why I'm very nervous to do like full frontal and full things on OnlyFans, because I'm like, once you go there, like society sees you as different. I don't think that should happen, but you can't be the safe in-between between sex work and mainstream. And people are making money by being the in-between. But once you go to like the full sex worker, people are fucking judgmental and you get stigmatized. And I'm like, why are all these men able to profit off of sex workers?
I know.
Have them as the face of their brand, like have them on their podcast. But is that sex worker getting paid the same amount he's getting paid? Like, I don't know.
It's funny because I talked to my parents about it. They obviously know what I do. They don't like what I do, but we can have a relationship outside of it. We just don't talk about that aspect of it. But I'm like, they've known I want to be in movies my whole life. And they're like, you'll never do full nudity, right? And I'm like, if James Cameron came to me, Martin Scorsese came to me and offered me this role that had topless, would you want me to turn that down? And they were like, well, no. I'm like, what's the fucking difference?
And your agent 100% would, negotiate a higher fee for you if the more you show.
Yeah. So my family loves HBO, like any of that. I'm like, if I were on a Sex and the City type of show and I was a Samantha Jones type of character, you would want me to turn that down? They're like, no. I'm like, okay, so you do get it.
Yeah. This is the thing. I'm like, I really should be doing this stuff like fully, because it's.
But you're right. Once you do it, you can't go back.
Yeah, it's terrifying. And like with facial recognition technology, I'm always scared. It's literally, I was like, when I think about doing stand-up, I'm like, there is a joke in there about how nowadays you can't be a woman on the internet. Your face and your tits can't be in the same picture. Like, it's like you can't be in a picture with drugs because facial recognition, or like with a gun or whatever. Because
with AI,
your tits are just as much of an offensive thing for like, if you're trying to, you know, get a visa or whatever, it's just as like damaging to have a picture naked on the internet as it is with you with like doing a line of coke or something.
Yes,
it's ridiculous.
Some man can AI you, Meg Prescott, doing those things as a deep fake.
Yeah.
And customs could see that anyway.
So you
can't win. That's literally why I started doing online sex work, was because deep fakes were being made of me and people were selling deep fakes of me. And I was like, fuck that. That's not fair.
Also, clips of Skins where I'm writing a solo show at the moment about this and about how people are the hypocrisy between how they treat actors versus sex workers. And I searched like Megan Prescott sex scene Skins, and there are specific websites for actors that have been in sex scenes or nude scenes or anything. And the website is just for you to search what actor you'd like to see naked or imitating sex, and you can find it. All of our scenes from Skins, it was like Megan Prescott shower scene, Megan Prescott, like, and I'm like, it's basically Pornhub, but for implied. But then I'm like, it's really murky areas, because if you're acting in a show, you consent to the context of in this show. You don't consent to it being on a website where people are looking for videos to wank to. But then again, like if they don't have that website, they could just watch the DVD or like, and just keep rewinding. Like so I'm like, if there's clips of me on the internet searchable on a platform that is very similarly laid out to Pornhub, where you can find all my implied sex scenes and nude scenes, why can't, and I'm not earning anything from that.
Right.
Why can't I do that privately? It's
a catch-22. I mean, you really can't win. You cannot win.
What I also find interesting is that a lot of people who are anti-sex work or anti-nudes or whatever, they seem to be more okay with like feet pics. And they're like, oh my God, you can make thousands out of feet pics. And I'm like, so you're okay with that body part being sold to be wanked over?
Yeah.
And it goes back to what you said about, I do think deep down, it's like these old fashioned, deeply ingrained religious things which say tits and vag are different to feet, where it's like, okay, so you're telling me that boobs and vag have more value than feet. So wouldn't I be stupid not to go and price those? I don't know. I just find it weird that feet are okay, but
yes, but if people really knew the statistics of foot fetish, it's like on the same level as tits and ass. Like it's the same, like more people have a foot fetish than they do with tits and ass. And people are like, tits and ass aren't a fetish. Well, they're not genitals. So technically they're just random body parts that aren't genitals.
That's a very good point.
Yeah. And first of all, feet pics, gateway drug to all sex work, because that is how I started. I was doing sketch comedy and I was doing a foot cooking show. Like I was doing like BuzzFeed tasty videos, but with my feet. And the comments, you should be on Wiki, like you're on Wiki Feet, like be on Feet Finder, all this stuff. And I was like, 100%, this will be hilarious. Realized, oh shit, I like kind of get off on this a little bit. Like I'm super into it. That's how I started doing like online, like full foot, like all fetish stuff, like came from the foot stuff. It is a gateway drug. And I recommend, I recommend it for people who want to do it for funsies, to make a little extra cash, but don't judge other people for selling other body parts, because it is the same thing.
Yep.
It's exactly the same.
I think it also might be because once you start selling, let's say your feet photos, you've separated sexuality from the feet. Just because you don't see feet as sexual,
right?
It doesn't mean someone else can't. So like, it's the same way how a lot of people often, they seem to be more okay with men doing things like sex work or like stripping, men stripping. It's like, it's like a fun hen party thing.
Yeah.
It's not, they don't seem to think it's like a seedy, like, oh no, you shouldn't be doing that. It's like a romp. Like
it's celebrated.
Yeah. But I think if you do start selling pictures of your feet, you realize like, this is going to be wanked over.
Yeah.
I'm providing pleasure for someone. I don't even need to do it myself. I do, but I'm not in person. It's not, it's safer. I have like an internet screen between me and this other person, a continent between me and this other person sometimes. Why, if they like my feet and I'm making good money selling my feet, well, why not other body parts? Like,
yes. And feet guys are the most respectful out of everybody because they get it. Like they've been shamed their whole lives for this fetish. So they get it.
Yeah.
So they're the best.
Yeah.
I love them. I love making it for them. It's great. I mean, yeah, fuck it. Who cares? Do what you want to do.
What would you say your feet niche is? Because I have very long toes, like finger toes. And I've always thought, probably I won't get many people liking my feet. However, I have recently realized that actually the finger toes might be a very specific niche that people
100%.
actually like. And I can like pick things up with my toes. So I feel like that's another thing that I'm really not cashing in on and I really should be. Do your feet have a specific selling point to them?
So I have nice arches.
Oh.
Yeah, that's a big selling point. I think for in-person, because I was doing these events called foot nights, which are foot worship parties. As a model, you get to go and have your feet massaged, licked, sucked on, and men pay you.
Where are these? Where are these?
I don't know if they're here, but they're all over the States.
I'd be very
Nobody
interested
knows about it. But I started doing it because I was so broke. But the first night I went, it was like these men were like bowing down to me. And I was like on like a dommy level. I was like, oh, I love this. I deserve to be worshipped. Like I should be getting paid to get a foot massage. Yes. So the payout is $20 for every 10 minutes.
Okay.
Of worship. So people would be like, I want to worship you for an hour. So you just sit in a booth with them and, you know.
Are you an active participant? Like, do you have to do anything or do you just let them?
So everybody's different. Sometimes you just leave them alone with your feet. They do their thing. Like it's not sexual. Like there's nothing sexual allowed.
Okay.
No foot jobs, nothing like that.
Okay.
No sex, nothing like it's strictly like they worship your feet.
Can they lick?
They lick, they suck, they deep throat. You could step on their face. Like some of them are like, I want to be domed. Like I want to be like spit on and like I want to be like told to like lick your heels and like stuff like specific stuff.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, everybody's different. A lot of foot stuff that the guys want from online is self-worship, where you stick your own foot in your mouth, basically. You suck on your own toes. Not my favorite thing to do.
Can you do that?
I can. I don't like to. Or they want a woman sucking on another woman's feet, which I also don't like to do, but I do it often.
Interesting.
Obviously. I think for you, since you have finger toes, it might be easy for you to suck on your own toes for that specific reason.
I think, yeah, because I know I can't get my leg like over my, I could definitely get my foot to my mouth.
All you need is your toes to your mouth. You don't need your whole foot. I mean, if you could lick the soles of your feet, that would do great. Like you'd kill.
Okay.
Something to consider. Plus, it's hilarious. Like if people were to leak the video, you could just be like, I did it as a bit.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's harmless.
Everything I post, I am like, listen to myself, listen, this may get leaked, right?
Yeah.
Are you okay with that?
Mm-hmm.
And everything I send, I'm like, I would rather it didn't, but I only send things where I'm like, if this did get leaked, I wouldn't be mortified. But most things I wouldn't be mortified about unless it was something like, I don't know what would like embarrass me. Maybe if it was like, well, I don't do poop stuff, but like poop stuff. But like, I'm like, as long as I look all right, I'm like, this is
like fetish stuff, because I come from a comedy background, all fetish stuff to me is hilarious. And I really enjoy doing it because I can be funny with it and like be my own personality with it. I think what would embarrass me is like me doing like strip teases and like dancing because I'm the worst dancer in the world.
Yeah.
And I try really hard to do a good job, and that's embarrassing.
Yeah.
In the same way that auditioning for commercials is embarrassing.
This is the thing. It's no more embarrassing than singing The Lion Sleeps Tonight and pretending to be a conjoined twin.
That is like I would die to see that video.
I please, it's out there somewhere. The casting assistant for that audition knows who they are. They must come forward and bring out that audition. Oh, I need it. I think there are some auditions that I would be absolutely mortified if they got out, but not so much the sex work. I don't know. So I think I know the answer to this, but what is the best job that you've ever had? And it could be any of them. Mine is OnlyFans because of everything we've talked about, like the freedom and whatever.
Yeah. I'd have to say OnlyFans as well. I really loved it because, when we talked about, the typical 9 to 5, I have ADHD. When I was working at this company called SourceFed, it was this amazing creative job that I had to go to every day, but it was the 9 to 5 format. And you're expected to be creative and have all the best ideas right when you get there and keep them coming all day long. You have to be on all day long. And I'm not I'm way too mentally ill for that. And it's like you're also hosting with like 8 or 9 different personalities throughout the day. Everyone's so different. Everyone has different wants and needs. And it was so exhausting for me. I was like the most depressed I've ever been in my life, even though I was like making some of the best comedy stuff. Because it's like every morning you'd like look at the news, write a funny piece about the news, perform it, and then go to lunch. And then when you get back from lunch, okay, you work on the sketches, like you're writing a sketch, you're shooting a sketch, whatever. And then after that, you go on a podcast, you do like this other, like we did table talk, which is like where you answer audience questions. So it's just like all day long. And if you finished early for the day, you would just have to sit at your desk till the end of the day because it was technically a corporate job. So normal creative jobs, like when I was at the Young Turks, I would show up, do the thing, and leave, which was amazing. But with SourceFed, it was so exhausting because it was just like, and they had like, they definitely favored some of them, mostly men, over the others. Some of the men could go home early, leave whenever they want. They would sleep during the day. And it was not, the same rules didn't apply to everybody. And that was really tough for me. So I mean, even though it was a great job and I really loved my time there, OnlyFans, nothing beats it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I loved sugaring too, because it was, you have an arrangement, you have a specific date and time that you are expected to show up, do the girlfriend thing, like play somebody's girlfriend, basically, like you're acting for a couple hours a week.
Perfect. Yeah.
I liked that too. It's great. And I also liked the people I was sugaring for. Like like they weren't these old gross men. Like they were like young and hot in their 30s. Like,
oh,
yeah.
interesting.
Like you can pick, like if you're, I mean, I was privileged, obviously. Not everybody has a choice. But I would like pick people I was really attracted to. That we just both didn't want a traditional relationship. We just wanted an arrangement, and I needed help financially.
Yeah.
So
I do feel like a lot of, again, probably people are going to get pissed off at this, but I do think a lot of relationships are transactional.
Yeah.
But without the benefit of having clear guidelines. So, and normally it's the woman that gets the shit end of the stick in that deal. So, like a lot of relationships, it's like, and this is based on what we consider traditional values or whatever is, the man goes to work and earns the money and the wife stays at home and like cooks and cleans and whatever. And he pays the bills and she looks after the children and blah, blah. That's very old fashioned. But a lot of like the women I went to school with, that's very much their vibe. And I'm like, that's fine. Like, but don't don't judge people who are like, I would like him to give me this amount of money. And then I'll spend this amount of time with him, because that is what you're doing. You're exchanging shelter, bills being paid, and like whatever.
It doesn't even add up equally though. Like the women are also just getting fucked in homemaker positions because their job never ends.
Yeah.
The guy can clock out and come home at a certain time.
Yeah.
The woman never gets to clock out.
Yeah. And I this thing about how we expect now that women are able to have jobs more and freedom and whatever, it's now like a thing where everybody is getting burnt out. And I read this thing and it was like, yeah, of course, because back in the day, people had the free labor of women back in the house doing all the stuff to keep a house and a family running while the man was able to go out and work. And while that's still an important part of like your of life is earning money, it takes two people to get enough money to pay the bills and then also keep everything in order at home, like eating, doing laundry, all that stuff. But nowadays, everyone is expected to do all those things.
Yeah.
And it was like, yeah, no wonder men are pissed off that women are like going out and having their own lives and doing their own thing, because now they don't have as much option for wives at home who are willing to just like support their dreams. Like, I will make it all okay so you can go out and do your thing. Now we're doing our thing, but it's fucking hard because we don't have wives at home who are like doing the laundry and the cleaning and the cooking. And I would love to have a wife. Like that would work very well for me.
Yeah.
I'm very interested in the idea of a house husband. Like I will need that. I will need someone to take care of the stuff at home. But it's like, that's, I think, why people get often pissed off at OnlyFans creators. Because I'm like, look how many women it has given financial freedom to that wouldn't have that otherwise, especially in the pandemic. They can now choose to do the careers they want.
Yeah.
And it's often like awesome things that sex workers are doing. Like Emma Magnolia, I listened to a podcast with her and she was saying that she got into sex work because she was like running a clinic for like Narcan and like to support drug users and to try and decriminalize support. I'm going to butcher that. But I was like, okay, so she's funding an amazing venture. And I don't think that you need to justify doing sex work with, I'm paying for university or I'm doing this social justice thing. But I'm like, she's doing an amazing thing. There isn't enough money in regular jobs to support her doing that. So she's doing sex work because it suits her perfectly. Like, fuck off.
Most men don't like it. They don't like it at all. They're jealous.
Yeah.
They're jealous of the amount of money that women are making. But then the rest of the men do like it and then they buy our content. So
what is a random fact about either acting or OnlyFans or both that people probably won't know? I'm sure there's a lot, but have you got any interesting views on that?
Agents and managers will fuck you over without realizing it, like constantly.
How?
Well, say they are asking for more money or specific perks or whatever that you as the actor or artist don't give a shit about, but they want to like, milk it a little bit. That will put a bad taste in the casting director's mouth and they will they'll hate the agent and they'll hate you by association too.
Interesting. I can see that being the case. I can see that being the case. Oh, that's why.
I had a manager who was like, you don't need to audition. I'm like, what? She was like, you just are, you'll do generals and whatever. I'm like, I am not at the level where I can't not audition.
Offers only.
She's like, I want you to be offer only. We're going to put you at like 30 grand as your starting price. I'm like, nobody's going to hire me at all.
Yeah, that just sounds like an ego thing on the part of the agent, I think. It's like, no, I'm willing to work for less than that.
I will make $100 a day if the project is amazing. I don't care about the money. Like, please, just like,
yeah.
And if it's a project I really want, I will audition my heart out, even though I hate auditioning.
Yeah.
So people behind the scenes will fuck you without you realizing it. And not in the fun way. Truly.
Okay, I guess this is a bit of a similar question, but I talk on the podcast about life lessons that I learned the hard way because I had like this decade of just shite jobs, not getting anywhere with acting and just being miserable. But I learned a lot of lessons along the way. And one of those lessons was that you really don't have to take everyone's advice. And this may be more applicable to me because I'm autistic or maybe anyone who's neurodivergent. But when people give me advice that I just used to think, oh, I'll take it. Like I just assumed that someone who was further along in their career than me or higher up in the like professional hierarchy they just knew best. So I spent a lot of that 10 years trying to be what these people were telling me I should be to make it in the industry. And it just was never going to work because I was autistic. Like, it wouldn't work how it would work for a neurotypical person. And like, when I did get diagnosed, I did start thinking like, wait, maybe sometimes I'm right.
Yeah. Trust your
Sometimes maybe
instincts.
my instincts are right. Not always, not in social situations most of the time, but sometimes because my brain thinks of things differently and can see patterns and pick up on what is probably going to work because it recognizes patterns, I can sometimes see things before like other people can. So as soon as I started trusting my own instincts a little bit more, I started getting more success. And now my thing is, okay, you should always listen to everybody's advice. Like, if they're trying to help, you should give them the grace of listening, but let it simmer and let it like condense, and you don't always have to take it. Is there anything similar that's like a life lesson that you had to learn the hard way, but that you would love to tell people so that they could just listen and not learn the hard way?
Two things. One, I do wish I started OnlyFans earlier, or just sex work earlier in my life. Honestly, I would have killed out of high school, which is horrible to say, like 19, 20. I know that's gross, but like I would have made good money.
Yeah.
Like, whatever. Should have started earlier. Second thing is, don't judge somebody. Don't judge a book by its cover. Do not judge somebody because of your preconceived notions of what you've been taught, because of what your family and friends say, their little judgments about people. You're allowed to have your own opinions. For example, when I was in my early 20s, a friend of mine, his girlfriend was a cam girl. And I remember when I heard that, I was like, that's disgusting. Like, ugh, why would anyone want to do that? That's just like selling your body as blah, 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 blah. I was anti-sex work at that point, right? So then my other friend and I, we like looked her up and we started going through her stuff. And I was like, wait, this is really fucking cool. She's really hot. She's really funny. She just spends all day like being funny, like playing video games, like being herself. She's just in laundry, like whatever. And I was like, oh, I was a big fucking asshole. Like, we both looked at each other. We're like, oh, we're total assholes. Yeah. But that totally changed my mind about sex work. I was like, I guess I just didn't realize. I thought it was like all performative, like, oh, look at me, I'm so hot. But really it was just like these hot women being themselves, just doing random shit.
That's
and
the
I
ironic
love
thing,
that.
right? So many people think like, oh, sex work is making everyone think that women have to look a certain way. It's perpetuating this like typical standard of beauty. And in sometimes top parts of it, yes. But I have also seen a lot. I definitely saw this in the strip club I worked in. There were all different kinds of women there. They were all different body types. And that is one of the reasons that strip club did better than a lot of the other strip clubs, because the other strip clubs, like the ones that rejected me, they had a very traditional look, and anyone that like went away from that, they wouldn't hire. But I think the reason a lot of people came to the club I worked at is because there was something for everybody. And ironically, the more sex work I do, the more I'm like, oh, like I don't actually need to be anything other than myself because people like this.
There's something for everybody out there. Any body type is acceptable.
Yep.
Which people don't realize. One of my favorite customs that I ever did, I got $250 to make a happy birthday video dressed as an old lady, like full grandma. Like I did the full makeup wig with my tits out. I was like, happy birthday. And it was just like 5 minutes of me wishing this person happy birthday with my tits out, but as an old woman. And I was like,
amazing.
I cannot believe someone paid me to do that.
But how fun. You got to like do costume and like you made someone's day, probably.
It's my favorite video I've ever made.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So never judge a book by its cover. And if you're sexually curious, explore it. Don't worry about what other people think. Just do you.
Yes. And so I guess I want to see if you have any advice for listeners so that they could avoid learning some of the life lessons that you've learned the hard way. Maybe in acting, I think that would be a great one. And I think maybe the sex work thing would be like, start when you're ready. Don't wait.
Sex work is, it's different. It's if you're hesitant, don't do it.
Yeah.
I truly believe that. Like I said, I mentioned many times, I'm in a very privileged position, and I've had great experiences with sex work, but not everybody has. So I don't want to paint it as like this amazing, wonderful thing because it's not for everybody, but it was amazing for me. But as far as acting goes, let loose. Don't be afraid to look stupid because honestly, the more loose and free and just dumb you are, the more likely you are to book. Honestly.
Mm.
And it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Because it's really out of your hands. Like it's genuinely.
Yeah. That's a great way to look at
slim.
it. I sat in on a casting when I was interning in LA years ago. And it's the first time I'd ever been on the other side of the casting. And like I saw people come in so serious about the script, like how I would have done it, like very, very serious, straight. And this was for like a crime show. It wasn't a comedy thing. And this one guy came in and was like laughing and joking around with the casting directors. I was like, oh my God, the confidence to be this like chill with these people who are like above you in professional terms. And he changed one of the lines in the script to make it like a joke. And I was like, oh my God, they're going to be so annoyed. And they were like, that's so great. And then when he left, they were like, he was funny. I really liked him. We like him. And I was like,
yeah,
he didn't even take the role seriously. But I don't think you need to go to that extreme. But I was like, you don't have to be so robotic
rigid
with it. You can be yourself. And again, the privilege of being a man probably helped. But I think
I just
yourself.
made a movie too, and I was watching the casting tapes for some of the women roles.
Yeah.
And the weirder choices, the bolder choices were so exciting to me.
Yeah, I never used to think that. I would be like, what do they want me to do?
Yes.
And try and do that. And I swear I only ever started getting any success with auditions when I was like, what do I think of this part? What's my take on this?
Yeah, I think the best advice I ever got from an acting teacher was like, it's not how do I fit the role? It's how does the role fit me?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What do I, Bree, have
Yeah.
as this character that nobody else has?
Because I do think sometimes they don't know exactly what they want and they are waiting
Most
to be
of the time
inspired.
They don't.
But it's like, well, listen, you're clearly not sure. Let me tell you what you want and let me tell you why you want me in this role.
Yeah.
But if you don't have the confidence, it's very hard to want to do that. But I do think that is a lesson that I learned the hard way.
Yeah.
So what is next for you? Where do you see yourself in 10 years' time?
I think doing the same shit I'm doing. Hopefully people are giving me more money. Like studios are giving me money to make features or short, like whatever. I'll take what I can get. I want to make cool shit with my friends, funny, horror, thriller, whatever. Like I just want to work with talented people and collaborate and make the best stuff. And OnlyFans, I don't know if that's going to last forever, but whatever form of sex work comes next, I'm happy. There's no shelf life. I always thought there was, but I have friends who are in their late 40s on OnlyFans killing it. So it's like, there's no time limit. I don't care. If it works for me, I'm going to make it work forever.
Ironically,
Maybe
I feel
become
like
a sex educator.
Yeah.
A lot of sex workers lean into that later on.
Intimacy coordinator?
Yeah, we had one on the movie that we just shot because I made an erotic thriller. Yeah.
Oh my God, amazing.
Yeah, and working with an intimacy coordinator, Sasha Smith. I love her. She was incredible. She's also an actress, so she knows exactly what she's doing.
Yeah.
It was a great experience. I loved her. I think she had wonderful advice. Yeah, an intimacy coordinator would be really cool.
And also, I feel like who's better qualified than sex workers to be intimacy coordinators? Like,
yeah, we choreograph our own stuff all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. What are you working on at the moment? So you said you've made your film.
Yeah, I wrote and EP'd an erotic thriller. It's called Good Girl. We just finished it. It is picture wrapped. It's being submitted to festivals. We're working on the sound and the music right now. And hopefully next year it goes to streaming eventually.
Oh my God, it's a feature.
Yeah, it's a feature.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's so exciting.
It is. Yeah, I'm really excited. It's about a sugar baby who is offered 30 grand to move in with her sugar daddy for a week.
Oh my God, like the realistic Pretty Woman.
Yeah, the thriller version, pretty much.
Oh my God, that is so great.
Yeah, and the first 15 minutes are like the story of my sex work journey. It's like she's a sugar baby. She's hustling on OnlyFans, and she's basically just trying to find her whale, her big spender. And she does, but there's a catch.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so excited that a sex worker made that film, because so many times you hear stories about sex work in mainstream media and you're like, oh my God, like this is so not even had sex work consultants on it. Like, my God.
Yeah. And we actually were like really, so a lot of our cast are queer or have been sex work, not the cast, but like crew were like sex workers too. Some of the artists we've brought in, like music wise, are sex workers. So I really wanted it to be like collaborative and bring in a lot of other sex workers, because it's more authentic that way.
Yeah.
We have great perspectives. Different. Way different. Plus, an erotic thriller, they're mostly made by men. Period. Like that is a subgenre of a thriller that men have dominated. And I feel like, for example, my favorite erotic thriller is Bound.
Have not seen, but
it's incredible. It's incredible. But like, yeah, it's mostly dominated by men. So to have like a fresh female perspective, it's scary, it's funny, it's fun, it's all the things. So and it's sexy. Like at the end of the day, it's an erotic thriller. There's some sex scenes in it.
It's so hot. Excited. Oh my God, I'm so excited. So we can't see it yet.
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet. Okay. But
I'm so excited.
Yeah.
So where I'm just wrapping things up now, because I'm aware we've been talking for like 2 hours. But where can listeners find you? Plug everything.
Okay, so I'm on Instagram, TikTok, Bree Essrig on Instagram, Bree Views for You on TikTok, and then OnlyFans, I'm Lil Summer Ho. Picked it in 2019. Do I regret it? Absolutely. But, it is what it is.
Okay. So, yeah, you've told us socials. You told us OnlyFans. You're Bree Essrig on everything?
Pretty much. Yeah. TikTok is Bree Views for You. My TikToks get deleted all the time.
Okay.
Even though I don't do any inappropriate shit. They hate me. Social media hates sex workers. That's not news to anybody. But my accounts get deleted all the time. So I'm always trying to start a new one.
Okay. Well, hopefully by the time this comes out, touch wood, you will still have a thriving social platform.
Hopefully.
I'm sure you will. Thank you so much for coming on the show. It's been really good. I didn't realize we would talk for so long, but I feel like we have so much that we do in the same vein that it's inevitable.
I know. Thanks for having me.
No problem. Thank you very much for listening to this episode of Really Good Exposure with me, Megan Prescott. If you like the podcast, please subscribe to make sure you don't miss out on future episodes. And if you're feeling extra generous, give it a nice review. If you want to find me online, my Instagram is @Megatron. That's MEGARTRON. Threads, I'm also Megatron. I'm on X, the artist formerly known as Twitter, @Meg_Prescott. And you can find a number of ridiculous videos involving me on my YouTube channel by searching youtube.com/Megan Audition. You can find more information about me and what I'm up to on my website, meganprescott.com, ARTRON, @protonmail.com. And I will answer the ones I think I could give the worst advice to. I'm just joking, I give excellent advice. This episode was brought to you by me, Megan Prescott. Recording, editing, and post-production by Adam Grigg. Original music also by Adam Grigg. Thanks again for listening and for all of the really good exposure. A lot of the topics that we talk about on Really Good Exposure relate to women's rights, worker rights, and the sorry state that both of those are in right now. I believe that women have the right to choose what they do with their bodies and how they make their money. And I believe that how we choose to use our bodies should never, ever alleviate perpetrators of violence from accountability. I believe that all workers deserve basic human rights and protections, and I believe that predators are always responsible for violence, not victims. If you agree, please consider donating to National Ugly Mugs. National Ugly Mugs is a pioneering national organisation that provides greater access to justice and protection for sex workers. Sex workers are often targeted by dangerous individuals and face obstacles to reporting, access to services, and police protection. Those who harm sex workers offend against all of us. You can donate to National Ugly Mugs using the link in the show notes, and you can follow National Ugly Mugs on Instagram at National Ugly Mugs. Thank you.